I'm sitting down with New York State Republican Chairman Ed Cox. Mr. Cox, thank you for being part of the big show here tonight.
Good to be with you, Dan.
A lot of discussion about the identity, really, of the Republican Party. You just saw the numbers right there with the former president far and above in the lead right now. Other more moderate Republicans trying to break through in this cycle. So for a Republican or a voter, what do you need to look for to break through in the 2024 election?
Well, the issue is always the president in the general election. And and the opposition is being critical. So it's not so much what the opposition is, it's where the president is, where the economy is, and those are the things that would decide the general election.
So I want to talk about two big issues, because you're bringing up some of the issues, right? And take a look at this News Nation Decision Desk HQ poll, which shows 60% of Republicans say they do not believe President Biden fairly won the 2020 election. A lot of talk about trust in the system. So how do you manage the mistrust in the electoral system?
Well, you had the same problem. I mean, Mrs. Clinton still says that that President Trump was not a legitimate president. The Minority Leader Jeffries was saying for a long while that President Trump was not legitimately elected. So this has gone back for a while, and it's just a continue. But in the end, the American people make a decision, and that's the decision.
There's so many conversations that happen in this specific cycle. The front runner in this race, former President Trump, a slew of legal battles ahead, some of them right here in New York, where we are broadcasting from tonight. So how does this impact, looking ahead, the caucuses and the primaries, which are really just a few weeks away at this point, could be just days before one of the court dates?
No, exactly. And I know most of those cases. If you're going to go after the leader of the opposition, which President Trump is at this point, you better have a lock-solid case. And none of those cases are in that category. They're all political cases. They're dragging up old statutes to use, or statutes that really don't apply to the situation. I've looked at each of them carefully as a lawyer, and I know the background on some of them very well from my experience as living in the White House and being a part of the presidential papers issues. And none of these cases are that kind of a solid case that should be brought. They're all political cases.
And that's why some voters may be saying, well, we're still going to support him.
And that's why Republicans generally, even if they don't like Donald Trump, they are gathering around him and saying, wait, on this issue, we support him.
So when you look, though, what should Republican voters look for in tonight's debate, right? The former president obviously going to be talked about in some form or one another from the candidates and from the line of questioning. But do you think that the 60% who are supporting him currently could possibly change their mind after hearing from some of the other candidates on this stage tonight?
I don't think that's going to happen. He is a former president of the United States. He's got a 4-year record to run on, which frankly is a very good record. And the economy was going well. We had peace abroad. We didn't have the problems that we have with respect to Russia or respect to the Hamas terrorists. So he will stand on his record, and I don't think that number is going to move that much. Now, what happens in Iowa and happens in New Hampshire is a different issue.
What do you mean by that?
Because that's what actually decides the real momentum. And
so if someone else were to
Governor
win,
DeSantis has covered all the counties in Iowa, and he feels that by that basis, when Iowa caucuses happen, he will end up as the main challenger. Of course, Nikki Haley is getting a lot of support from donors because she's a very traditional Republican position with respect to foreign policy, peace through strength, and respect to cutting taxes and cutting regulations. And donors have rallied around her, and she's going to get a lot of support on the ground from those donors.
And there is an issue about independent voters and undecided as well. So what are you looking for as the key point to maybe drag some of those to one candidate?
This is about Republican primaries. While in some of the states, independents or blanks, as they call them, can vote in the Republican primary. Here, you're really looking for who is going to appeal to the Republican base. And former President Trump has a lock on part of that base.
Ed Cox, I appreciate you being here for part of Debate Night in America.